Hello, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello. This is the Superman iceberg. Alright, guys. It's been like a long time. I originally I was gonna have a different. So yeah. Anyways, you know probably an iceberg. You know about Superman. I don't want to do one of these intros. Let's just hop into this video since this probably is gonna be an unholy amount of too long. Superman, the comic series. Superman has had a very long comic history. So, yeah, it's no surprise that he has a very long running comic series. Action Comics. Action Comics #1 was the first appearance of Superman. And for a while he basically ruled Action Comics. So eventually he did get his own book, but for a while he was Action Comics. So, yeah, Supergirl. Supergirl is the cousin of Superman who ended up getting, it's really confusing about how she's still alive somehow. Sometimes she's not even the cousin. But all that matters is that now she's here and she's she's honestly probably the second most, and she might be the second most famous female character from DC. Siegel and Schuster. Siegel and Schuster were both the creators. There is so much to talk about these two. I could honestly do an entire video just about how they just created Superman, okay? Because I find it so interesting. But that's for another day, because there's so much to talk about with that. Superboy. There were many Superboys, but I'm just going to stick to the main. Well, those two Superboys. First off was in some weird Superman origin story where he was a kid. It's really confusing. But the more famous one, at least nowadays probably, is the clone of Superman being half Superman, half Lex Luthor. And Superboy has appeared in many things, with his probably most famous appearance being in the show Young Justice. Henry Cavill movies. Henry Cavill was Superman for a while, and it's very interesting. Especially since I feel like Henry Cavill could have been such a good Superman, just that they didn't give him good material. As for the movies Henry Cavill appears in as Superman, so it is Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League 2017, Justice League the Snyder Cut, and then a few others, but those are the main ones. There was also going to be a Man of Steel 2, but I'll talk about that later. By later, I mean now. So, yeah, there was going to be a Man of Steel 2, which would have had Brainiac. I'd highly recommend Bullets and Blockbusters video about Man of Steel. Also, I probably will ask you to watch a bunch of videos with Superman and stuff. So how I think you should do it is just get a piece of paper, write down all the videos you need to watch, and then after you're done with this video, go watch those. Or if you're on like PC, open a new tab and watch it from that tab. But just don't get rid of this video, please. Crypto the Super Dog. Crypto is probably the most famous super pet ever. He's basically a character who was Superman's friend, but, well, he's Superman's best friend, and he's actually very popular. Crypto got his own TV show and even kind of got his own movie. By the way, can I just talk about how annoying it is that in that movie, they didn't have, like, any of the actual characters from the comics. Like, come on, we didn't get Ace the Bat Hound. We didn't even get a mention of Bat Cow. Come on, we didn't get to see Flash's turtle. Yes, get it? Flash as a turtle. Whatever. Come on. You couldn't even have Ace the Bat Hound. It makes me angry. George Reeves TV show. George Reeves ended up being Superman from 1952 to 1958 in the Superman series. Also, for whatever reason, they're just not connected. George Reeves and Chris Reeves just are not connected by, like, blood or anything, which is weird, because those two people who have the last name of Reeves, both really important to Superman, they're just not, I don't know. Maybe I'm going insane. Probably. Superman Returns. Superman Returns is a movie where Superman Returns, it was meant to be a successor to to the original Superman movies. But in the end, it ended up panning. And just like Man of Steel 2, its sequel was supposed to have Brainiac as the villain, although it ended up getting cut. Again, highly recommend Bullets and Blockbusters' video about what Superman Returns 2 was gonna be. John Kent. John Kent is is Superman's adopted father, and I think he's a very interesting character. Mainly in Smallville. Everywhere else, he's basically just there. But in Smallville, I actually kind of liked him. Honestly, don't be surprised if I eventually make like a 5-hour video about Smallville. I won't, but I don't know. If I run out of topics, listen, that's on my bucket list of videos to make. That's at the very bottom, okay? I'm not making that video, okay? I'm only making that video, not making it for a while, okay? So 5-hour review of Smallville is a little too much yet. Maybe in the future. Speaking of Smallville was a 10 season. Yes, 10 season. This stuff ran for like 217 episodes. It's crazy. It just kept on running. Yeah, so Smallville is a 10 season show about Superman and its origin story. And yeah, most people agree that it probably kind of became worse, but as someone who honestly have not finished it, I'm on like season 7, okay? It's on my bucket list to finish it. But videos and stuff. I mean, this video has taken me a long time. I mean, I'm right now recording, and it already took me like 2 weeks to just so I already know this is gonna be a long video, but whatever. Yeah, it's on my bucket list to do. Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois was basically a TV show made, and it was about Superman and Lois. It's very popular, but overall, similar to Smallville, it's kind of fallen in obscurity. Oh yeah, Superman and Lois can also be referred to the much more popular TV show, well, Superman and Lois from the CW. It is also going to be probably the final CW show. Again, which is kind of poetic that they begin with a show about a young Superman, and now, which was the first DC show, which was Smallville, and now they're going to end with the last DC show being about an old Superman. So, poetic. Coates Superman. I cannot find anything, probably because I kept getting confused with Coates when I tried to look it up. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Apology video. Again, though, comment down below if you know what the heck this is about, because I have no idea. Well, then that wraps up the first tier with 8 minutes. Ooh boy, this is gonna be a long one. How many tiers are there again? Wait, there's 8 tiers. That means that there's probably gonna be. Oh no, this video is probably gonna be over an hour. Well, better get ready. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one. Different kryptonite colors. Most people probably know about green kryptonite. And I think a decent amount knows about red kryptonite. Green kryptonite, well, it makes them weak, and red kryptonite turns them evil. Well, did you know, actually, originally, red kryptonite actually turned them in like a lion head? Basically, back in the day, red kryptonite was whatever they could put on the cover so that they could sell. Yeah, there's also blue kryptonite, who in Smallville, I think, who I'm pretty sure in Smallville, it makes you switch bodies with a Kryptonian. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I just got bonked in the head, but I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I haven't watched that episode in a while. But in most continuities, it makes Bizarro. It weakens Bizarro. Also, I'm pretty sure introduced in Smallville, not sure, but I'm pretty sure this one was introduced in Smallville. Black kryptonite. It makes it so that evil Kryptonians end up being separated from good Kryptonians. That's another whole thing. Oh yeah, and then there's my favorite, pink kryptonite. It makes Superman gay. Yes, pink kryptonite makes him gay. Obviously, there's more colors, but I could go on all day. I could probably make an entire video just about the story about different colored kryptonites. The death of Superman. The death of Superman might be the most famous Superman storyline just ever. I mean, if you can get 3 adaptations, then you are pretty famous. But the death of Superman ended up being a pretty popular storyline where Superman ended up dying due to Doomsday. Obviously, he eventually came back, although worse. And in fact, I kind of have a theory of my own to explain about why Superman acted so weird in the 90s. It's not because he was in, like, stasis or whatever. No, he was replaced with a clone. The original Superman did die, and that Superman from that universe is dead, and this evil clone has replaced him. And that would explain why he was so weird in the 90s. Except then again, that's kind of stupid. Candle. Candle is what ended up kind of keeping Krypton alive. And for someone who, is just a casual Superman fan, they may be like, wait, but Krypton was destroyed. Kinda. Basically, Brainiac ended up taking part of it and ended up stealing it for his own. In some continuities, like, for example, in Justice, Brainiac was actually the one who destroyed it. I'm actually kind of a big fan of Brainiac destroying it, but I feel like then it kind of pushes away Lex from being Superman's big bad and kind of makes Brainiac maybe a little too much of a fool. Alright, I'm trailing off. But, yeah, Candle is a pretty important thing. In fact, in the Superman 78 comic book, it actually ended up appearing. It appeared. Well, yeah, it actually did. So, God. Yeah, which is actually very interesting. Superman Atari is a Superman game made with the Atari. It is a whole can of worms, and I'm actually thinking about, and I think if this video blows up, and if I do more Superman content, I'm thinking about doing Superman's history in gaming. Probably not playing all of them, but at least talking about them, because I'd argue Superman has a very interesting story in gaming. But, yeah. Yeah, so basically, this is a whole nother thing, and honestly, I'm probably going to talk about this later if this video does good enough. Marvel comic parodies. Instead of just keeping it to Marvel Comics, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different Superman parodies. Superman has had many parodies. For example, Homelander from The Boys, or Omni-Man from Invincible. And then obviously there's some Superman versions also in Marvel. So, yeah. In fact, in Marvel, there's literally an entire team of a Justice League knockoff called the Squadron Supreme. So, yeah, very interesting. So, and obviously, though, and I would not doubt if there's many more Superman parodies. Or sometimes not even parodies. Sometimes just serious, but still, just Superman lookalikes. All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman might be the most loved Superman story ever. Death of Superman may be the most famous, but All-Star is probably the most loved. So, basically, it's a story where after he goes to the sun, it ends up slowly poisoning him. And now it's slowly killing him. And I will not go any further because I refuse to spoil this amazing storyline. I refuse. Elseworld Superman. Obviously, there's many Elseworld stories with Superman, so naming them would be all day. Again, another video that I could probably make it if people really like me talking about Superman. Other super pets. I already talked about Flash's turtle and Ace the Bat Hound, but did you know there's a bat cow? Yeah. So, and yeah, it is very interesting how many super pets there are. But overall, I do think that super pets are kind of lame. Because I just think that I just don't not like super pets. And honestly, if they were removed, I'd be kind of happy. Since, super pets are kind of lame. And with that concludes the second tier. Again, so again, starting to pick up a bit of a faster pace for these. I don't want an hour-long video. Also, something I forgot to say, we've almost reached 10,000, almost 10 subscribers, yay. So I guess this is my almost 10 subscriber special. Or maybe we've already reached 10 subscribers by the time I post this. Whatever, thank you guys so much for that. I'll talk about that more in the outro. LL significance. LL is very interesting, as LL is an initial of a bunch of characters in the Superman mythos. I'd highly recommend NerdSync's video about the LL conspiracy, but overall, it's kind of weird, but if you go too deep, it's crazy. But again, check out NerdSync's video. It's really good. Super Dickory. I'm not sure if I can say it, but I'm only going to say it once. Whatever. It's basically a term used about how a bunch of old Superman, comic books, had Superman clearly being a bit of a joke, which is kind of weird. But overall, I'd highly recommend Hugby's 2 videos about Superman, being not that good of a guy. Again, I'm only going to say it once because, I don't want to be shafted. But, yeah, so check out those videos if you want to learn more about this. Superman copyright problem. Superman's gonna, become public domain in 2030. Crazy. Oh my god. Imagine if people make evil Superman. Jor-El survived. In many continuities, for whatever reason, Jor-El survives, actually. And he ends up managing to live. The main one is probably in My Adventures with Superman, where he's actually is alive. And then there's also and then a lot of continuities has him as a weird holographic thing. But still, a lot of the time, more times than you'd expect actually, Jor-El is alive. Invincible, I've already speaked about earlier, but Invincible is a comic series. And also later a TV series, an ongoing TV series with currently 2 seasons. And it is very popular. Omni-Man and Homelander are probably most likely tied at this moment for most famous Superman knockoff. Superman Red / Superman Blue. Superman Red and Superman Blue are both, well, these have had 2 stories, kinda. One of them, the first one, is in an Elseworld storyline where Superman ends up getting turned into 2 people, Superman Red and Superman Blue. Superman Red ends up marrying Lana Lang, while Superman Red ends up marrying Lois Lane. So, yeah, and then the other more famous story was in the 90s where Superman turned blue. And I'm pretty sure those also were Red Superman. I don't really remember. But still, that's pretty crazy, especially how this has happened many a times. I'm kind of wondering, knowing that Superman's son right now is kind of has electricity, if we're gonna eventually see a red version of him, perhaps, to reference Superman Red and Blue, since a lot of the time Superman Red is kind of evil. Well, mostly in my headcanon, because Red is evil. Superman Lives. Superman Lives might be one of the most famous canceled movies. Basically, in this version, Superman ends up dying. Yeah, it's an adaptation of the death of Superman. There would also be Brainiac, and also Lex Luthor as the villains, which would have been very interesting. There were also going to be stuff like a robotic spider, and Nicolas Cage would have been Superman. We even got to see a reference to this movie in The Flash. As for the reason it got canceled, it's because a lot of people were leaving. Like, for example, Nick Cage decided to leave the movie. And also, this movie would have been directed by Tim Burton. Yes, that Tim Burton, who directed Batman 89 and Batman Returns. So people just kept leaving and not leaving, so it ended up getting canceled. Also, in the movie, they were going to have some kind of Lexiac, which probably would have been the first time that appeared, since it would have been probably a little under 10 years before Justice League would do it. The Superman cause. The Superman cause refers to the theory, well, not only theory, but the belief that if you're walking on Superman, something bad will happen. A couple examples. For example, most of the cast of the original Superman movies got cursed. For example, the baby in that movie ended up, when he grew up, he ended up having a drug overdose. The John Kent in the movie, his daughter ended up committing, I don't want to be insensitive, but she ended herself, okay? So, yeah, and also, eventually, also the actor for Superman in those movies ended up getting crippled in a horse accident. And then also, the actor for Lois Lane in the movie ended up getting kidnapped. Yes, she got kidnapped, although it was for non-Superman reasons, in case any psychos thought so. Then also, Allison Mack did some things I'm pretty sure I cannot say. Just look up her Wikipedia. Let's just say that she was a part of a cult. Yeah, it's that, if you already looked it up now. Yeah, it's that bad. And also finally, Zack Snyder's daughter just also ended herself. So, yeah, it seems like it's a bit of a curse. Apollo and Midnight are both two characters who were Superman and Batman whips. Except here they're gay. Brightburn is a not very good movie about how a kid became an evil Superman. Which, again, not very good movie. For many reasons. But hey, it's an evil Superman, which again, kind of tired of. Superman versus KKK. Superman fought the KKK, kinda. Basically, there was a Superman on the Superman radio show where he ended up having to fight the KKK. But here they couldn't say it, so they called him the Red Fiery Claws. Again, I'd highly recommend NordSync's video about it. Yeah, I'm doing more about NordSync, but hey, they're a really good channel. NordSync's video about Superman versus the KKK, which is pretty crazy knowing this, and I would, yeah. So, yeah, and there's even a comic book called Superman Smashes the KKK, which came to honor the legacy of the radio show episode. The Reign of Superman was the original appearance of Superman. Basically, in the story, Lex Luthor would have been kind of a good guy, as he would have been a mad scientist who took a homeless man and turned him into all-powerful Superman, basically a god. That guy would turn evil, eventually lost his powers. So, yeah. And it was the second iteration of Superman. I'm pretty sure it was the second iteration. Again, the creation of Superman's a whole video of its own. So, yeah. And so that means that these evil Superman do kind of be normal, since it's either the first or even, it's either the second or even first version of Superman who was supposed to be evil. So, pretty crazy. The glasses mystery. This refers to how people are like, wait, how can people not see that Clark Kent is Superman through the glasses? Well, basically the reason is he does a lot more than just wear glasses. Clark puts a lot of padding on to make it seem so that they don't see how Buffy is and stuff. So, yeah. And also, how are people supposed to, know that? Because most people probably just assume that Superman doesn't have a secret identity. He just flies among the skies. So, yeah, I don't think it's that much of a mystery. I think it's just that people in Metropolis just assume, oh yeah, Superman is Superman. He doesn't have a secret identity. Why would he? Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex. I think I said Kleenex. Oh God, I'm gonna try and describe it, but I'm not sure if I can. Basically, it describes about how Superman could not really have correct intercourse, because not just would it destroy the woman, it would also cause that if there was a baby, it would absolutely kill the woman. This is an essay made in 1969. And it ends up ending with the best way for Superman to have a child is by putting it inside himself. Yeah, this is going to be the final tier, and this is only tier 4. I'm worried. Super Soldier. Super Soldier happened from a Marvel Amalgam Comics. I've already talked about it before with Peter Palmer or Dark Claw being fuses of other stuff, such as Spider-Man and Superboy or Batman and Wolverine. But the weird thing is that actually there's Super Soldier, a mix of Superman and Captain America. This basically, as for the character, his origin story is basically just a mix of Superman and Captain America, and he has villains. He has villains such as a mix of Lex Luthor and Red Skull called Green Skull, or a mix of Metallo and I think Killing Robot from a random Captain America issue, and those are his only two villains. Yeah, don't ask though how Green Skull canonically was alive since the 1940s and then also still alive in the 90s without being old as F. Super Dictionary. Super Dictionary is a dictionary with characters with DC superheroes to help kids learn about it. And in one of them is an infamous Lex Luthor meme. An infamous meme which goes by 40. When no one was looking, Lex Luthor stole 40 cakes. That is 4 tens. That is terrible. Obviously, that is absolutely hilarious. And now it's been a meme about how Lex Luthor has stolen 40 cakes. And I just imagine Lex Luthor going into, imagine a series, imagine Lex Luthor from the DCEU. Actually, never mind. That seems like the kind of thing that Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor would do. So, bad example. But again, imagine a serious Lex Luthor going in and stealing 40 cakes. What are you gonna do with those cakes? I swear, man, those cakes are gonna fucking power a machine to destroy everything on Earth, dude. Those cakes are gonna power something, dude. And I'm not sticking around to find out. Superman versus Nicotine. Nicotine is probably the most famous Superman villain ever. No, I'm kidding. Nobody knows who Nicotine is. This is an advertisement made basically about how Superman has to fight this nicotine guy, and it begins with some random children be like, hey, listen to me. You want some cocaine? You want some cigarettes? And then the kids are like, how easy is it to get off? And he says, very easy. And then Clark Kent's just outside the Daily Bugle with laser eyes, X-ray eyes, just going, I sense nicotine! And just goes zooming off. And then just beats the living snot out of nicotine. And then he destroys all nicotine cigarettes. Possibly, though, the thing that the thing that I'm asking is that there addictive chemicals in that? Because then you didn't just make nicotine even more addicted. You just made all those kids addicted. You idiot, Superman. And then the kids say, "Hey, Superman, how easy is it to get off?" And he says, "Very hard, not easy at all. That's why I say no to cigarettes." And that's the end. No. And also, this is so fastly paced. I feel like an advertisement that should have been a minute long, condensed into 30 seconds. It feels one after another. Please, I highly recommend for you to go watch this commercial. It is hilarious. And I don't know why. Jimmy Olsen's transformation. So, Jimmy Olsen was basically Superman's Robin back in the day. Because every single boy superhero had some kind of sidekick back in the day. Batman had Robin, Flash had Kid Flash, Green Arrow had Speedy, etc. And Superman's was Jimmy Olsen. Probably the least heroic of the group, but still very important. And so it was very intro. And so something that they did is that every single Superman cover back in the day would either have Superman Super Decoy, as he talked about earlier, or had Jimmy Olsen be some horrific creature. He can inflate himself. He can turn himself into a dragon. He has so many powers, and it's crazy. Dude, Jimmy Olsen's probably more powerful than Superman because of all of his transformations. And gosh, please, DC, James Gunn, please, even just as like a quick dream sequence, have Jimmy Olsen turn into some of these things in one of the Superman movies of the DCU. Please, James Gunn, please, man. I mean, that would be hilarious, dude. Seeing that stuff in live action, I would literally lose my mind. Literally. But and that is the end of Tier 4. This one again, I decided to cut a lot of these, and this is gonna be when a lot of these will kind of start to lose their interest. So expect a lot less entries per tier, as a lot of these are either boring, or I couldn't find anything about them, or I just thought that it just didn't, or anyways, it's time to go to Tier 5. Superman and Don Rickles. Superman and Don Rickles have both had crossovers with each other. Yeah, and if you don't know who Don Rickles is, like me, he was the guy who voiced Mr. Potato Head. So yeah, basically, yeah, I'd highly, again, I know I keep recommending NerdSync's videos, but again, I'd highly recommend NerdSync's video about this crossover. Basically, it's wacky, where there's like 2 Rickles. Just go watch the video, it's really good. Superman Sesame Street. And there was a segment in Sesame Street, in one of the Sesame Street episodes, where Superman appears. Whoa! And he talks about what all the different S things are. Then he ends up fighting what I presume is supposed to be Lex Luthor in like a spaceship thing. And then they fight. Superman ends up managing to defeat Lex Luthor. And that's basically it. He talks about how a bunch of different things start with S. How that letter S is like his favorite letter for whatever reason. Yeah, it's a pretty bare bones part of Sesame Street. Then again, it is probably my top 50 favorite segments of Sesame Street. I love that. But the only ones better is the many, many Batman ones. Like, there were so many Batman Sesame Street ones. There were lost media of Batman Sesame Street. Well, there was. I'm pretty sure it has been found by now. But whatever. Okay, that's crazy, my guy. Comet the super horse attraction to humans. Way earlier in this video, I talked about the many super pets. But one I did not mention is Supergirl's horse, Comet. They were in a romantic relationship. Let me explain. Basically, Supergirl and her horse was in a romantic relationship. Okay? Because Comet turned into like a man. And it's a whole thing. I'd highly recommend Comic Drake's video on the topic. And anyways, that wraps up Tier 5. Again, before you go, and yes, this is a pretty short tier. Again, like I said in the last tier, I am starting to shorten out these tiers. Only really leaving the essentials. Because a lot of this stuff, because this bottom half is probably going to be way shorter than the first half of the iceberg. Just because there's not as many interesting stuff. So, yeah. Who knows? Maybe this won't even be now. I don't know. I'm still recording this. I don't know how long this could be. Lost radio show episodes. Obviously, the Superman radio show has many lost episodes. I'd be surprised if it didn't, honestly. So, yeah. There were so many, I could probably make an entire video about it. And again, if this video does well, probably make a video about the lost Superman radio show episodes. Krypton is fine. This refers to a random robot chicken sketch where Jor-El just blasted Superman's Kal-El just off of Krypton to Earth because of a divorce. Sorry. Oh yeah, by the way, I had to watch like 6 minutes of a best of Superman Robot Chicken video. Which Robot Chicken, please just release your sketches, other videos, please, or something. I didn't want. Listen, it was funny, but still, I don't want to have to wait 6 minutes. Okay. Superman revealed the atomic bomb. I presume that this is referring to a comic, one of the comic books where Superman films the first showing of the atomic bomb at Bikini Atoll. That's what I think it is. Again, though, I don't really know, you know. I'm not really sure on this one. It's kind of shaky, so this one you probably take a pinch of salt with. Superman is related to Luthor. I believe the only thing I could find about this, and by the only thing, I mean a 3-second Google search, okay? I'm tired of researching for this video. It's like 11 at night. I should be going to sleep. I'm also not really feeling that good, so I'm just trying to power through this video. So, yeah, as far as I know, this is referring to Red Sun, which I believe I already covered in this video about why it would count, but you know, Red Sun is technically related to Luthor. I don't really think so, though, since it was Superman and Lois Lane who then had the child who became Superman. Listen, Red Sun's continuity is a complete mess. Okay, I do not want to go into that in this video, okay? Okay, otherwise this video will definitely turn into an hour. And this video already is getting long enough, okay? Maybe not going to be an hour, thank God, please. I cannot handle an hour-long video, but again. Super ventriloquism. This is referring to a Pacific Comic panel which goes, later Krypto helps his master with hoodwinking Lois. Okay, weird, but anyways, let's continue. Then Krypto says, now, while Clark merely moving his lips, I use ventriloquism and... So he's thinking this. And of course, super ventriloquism, everyone's favorite. And then Krypto and Superman says at the same time, Lois. And then Noah says, you're speaking English? So yeah, that's pretty crazy about this story. Anyways, guys, okay, guys, and that is tier 6. We have 2 tiers left before we can finally be done with this video. Oh boy. Anyways, guys, I'm probably gonna go to sleep now. And I'll finish this tomorrow. My throat hurts after talking for not that long, so that's bad. Yeah, I'm just not doing that hot. I think I might be sick. I should probably go to bed. Anyways, bye. Superman Sand. Superman Sand refers to, I believe, the theory about how in one of the Superman comics there was like a sand clone of him, and so I think that it refers to, you know, the sand clone taking over and replacing him. But I already talked about this theory earlier in the video, so let's just go to the next topic. Super kissing. I believe this refers to in Superman 2, how Superman kissed Lois Lane with so much force, and then she forgot everything. Don't know why this is tier 7. This is like tier 3 stuff, but whatever. Super mini-me generator. This refers to how in the Superman comics, there was a mini-me generator that caused it full power for him to be able to like shoot out rainbows with mini versions of him, and then eventually they like sacrifice themselves and Superman got all his powers back. So, yeah, crazy, absolutely nutty. And anyways, again, I'm sick again, but time to move on to the final deal. Again, though, guys, I can only find one topic, that's actually interesting in this deal. Yeah, this iceberg kind of died, so I had to skip a lot of them, So, the only one that will be coming in tier 8 is the Superman theory. It is a conspiracy theory that the DC Universe military created their own metahumans, and Superman's actually just like a brainwashed clone. Yeah, it's crazy, and it deserves to be the final topic of this video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. I thought this video would be like an hour long, but it's barely over 40 minutes. Which is weird. This isn't even my longest iceberg. It goes to DC Iceberg Part 1, which is weird. But whatever, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I didn't have to make an hour-long video, because that would have been a pain. But thank you, guys. And I cannot believe this. And we're almost at 10 subscribers. But now, if we reach 10 subscribers, I'll get my full thoughts on it, on me hitting it. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. So goodbye. Have a nice day, and make sure to stay super. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna keep that one.